32! Yokai Watch! Wibble Wobble!
Wibwobbers. Robbett here. Welcome to Robbett Watch 32, Inferno Summer Festa Edition. But what is a festa? Good question. It's like a fiesta, but in Mediterranean countries like Italy. Why festa? No idea. Probably a whole Da Vinci Code thing about Dante's Inferno. Look it up. First things first, Smashibull arrives in the Lucky Crankakai. He's limited time only until the middle of August, so apparently we have the event for around 2.5 weeks. The new event, the Festa, because it's hot in the Inferno. Event points are available, the ones you tap like in the recent Liberty Way event, not the ones you surround to pop like in the Scrambles. Komane is here as well. He'll play spoiler in the hidden stage of the Ultra map. During the event, Smashibull will reduce damage in all of the stages except bosses and hidden stages. Gleam, who we'll get to in a moment, reduces damage from the Komane battle. Lastly, Komane himself gives a bonus to all event points you collect. There's a special festival coin, parenthesis summer, and that's the only way you can get Gleam, who is another new yokai. There are two interesting notes at the bottom here. One is that even though you use festival coins in the Lucky Crank, they are unaffected by fever. The other note states that we'll actually be getting a fourth map at a later date, I'm guessing in maybe a week, like we did during the Rainy Season Mystery Way event in Puni. Alright, the new tradition is to take a big pile of Y money and throw it at the Lucky Crank and see what we get before we begin the event. The Lucky Crank, like the Puni event Gasha, changes most of its contents between events, so let's see what we have. Blizzy Awoken and Arachnus Awoken are our SS options. Whole bunch of S ranks in there, many we already had, but the only two your eyes are likely drawn to are Smashibull and Unikirin, who remains in the Crank. Of course we have our complement of A and B ranks as well. The Festival Coin, parenthesis Summer, contains 3 important things. Gleam, Smashibull, and Super Soul Secrets. Pretty cool. The bad news is that it works just like the Lucky Crank, so it's possible to crank something you already have, even if maxed, which means these 3 are going to be completely up to good old-fashioned luck. Here we go. I haven't had the best of luck in the last few events when it comes to cranking, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it might be today. After 90 lucky cranks, my 9th fever yielded Smashibull. I'm not going to go into statistics because Lucky Crank odds shouldn't change much event to event. Check out my last 2 videos on the Lucky Crank if you're interested. Smashibull is a heartful S-rank bottom popper. On to the event. The Inferno Summer Festa is themed like the Infinite Inferno, and there are a lot of things about it that continue here. Days is a random encounter, dropped items seem to be a level higher than normal, and the levels are all actually pretty hard. Unfortunately, there are no new yokai on these levels, so I'm going to blast past them all. The boss of the Festa maps is Smashibull. As you can see, he's not befriendable. You need to do that via the Lucky Crank or Festival coins. In the first map, Smashibull does 147 damage and has around 5,900 hit points, so he shouldn't be too much of a challenge. He's dispatched with ease, and away we go to the Super Inferno Summer Festa. At this point, I'm assuming that's the longest map title we've ever had, but since we don't normally have 4 maps, we'll have to see what they call the 4th one when it's available. Here we are at the super version of Smashibull. I have to say, he's a smug-looking bull, don't you think? Super Smashibull hits for 229 damage and has around 9,500 hit points. Again, he's not super tough, but depending on your team, you're going to want to make sure you have the boosters necessary to defeat him in a single fever. And we're off to the Ultra Inferno Summer Festa. If you're into collecting stars at all, like I am, you'll be interested to know they've brought in some of the challenges that Puni has had for a while, such as finishing a level with a certain amount of health, performing a certain number of Soultimates, popping a certain number of Wibble Wobble, not getting attacked more than a certain number of times. It's a little thing, but it's new and that's awesome. Unfortunately, no missions with this event. The last and final Smashibull, still smug, or perhaps simply confident. This one is going to be a challenge for a lot of folks. Even getting to him through the Ultra map is likely a challenge. He's got 22,000 hit points and does 472 damage, so you've really got to bring your A game. In addition, in order to open up the hidden route to Komane, you're going to need to beat Ultra Smashibull in under 65 seconds. Komane is our final stage here on Ultra Inferno Summer Festa, and he's tribe restricted. You can battle him with Brave, Mysterious, Charming, Slippery, or any combination, but you can't use other tribes and you can't continue. Komane does the exact same 472 damage as Ultra Smashibull, but he has nearly double the hit points at around 42,000. The good news is that he's befriendable, and that's what we're here to do. I don't have my super OP team with Liberty Neon SS, but they're a rarefied group nonetheless, and the job gets done. Unfortunately, nothing but blue smoke. Wait, did I feed him? I didn't. Too much going on today. Komane takes ice cream, and we never did get that additional ice cream that was mentioned during the Liberty Way event. Whether the ice cream is boosted like it allegedly was before, I honestly don't know. It isn't mentioned. Either way, it's time to beat him again. I'm not nearly as planful in my execution, and I didn't line up 2 Demunchers, so... shocker, I didn't actually beat him in Fever. It's a mad popping scramble to the end, and I win, with 9 hit points left. Enma apparently appreciates this, for he smiles upon me from the yokai heavens and bestows Komane after only my 2nd battle for a job well done. Komane is a charming A-rank ball popper. Normally I don't show yokai being added to the medallion, but this time I'm going to because, well, you can see, there are more slots there. I don't know for sure, but I'm imagining that many of those slots will be filled by yokai coming with the additional map. That pretty much does it for the Inferno Summer Festa's first maps, with the exception of the Festival (Summer) coin. To get it, you go to the point store and there are a bunch of pretty interesting yokai available. Perhaps the most interesting is Chimera, who requires completing all of the stars in the 8th level of the Infinite Inferno, something that's not easy to do. I spent the afternoon grinding points with the help of Komane and saved up 22,500 points, which is enough for 3 festival coins, the max you can buy, to try and get Gleam. Now the fine folks at level 5 give us a heads up from time to time, and I hear there might be a chance to get more of these when the 4th map rolls around, and I sure hope so. My 3 pulls resulted in nothing I didn't already have and nothing of the S-rank variety, but I'm sure we'll see folks posting how they got Gleam nonetheless. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe to me on YouTube and Twitter for the latest Puni and Wibble Wobble information. Until the next video, good luck with the gacha.